I mean, it's been muted from, I think, self-inflicted. Well, no, I don't know. Well, yeah, yeah, I would say that's kind of self-inflicted muting, so to speak. Especially like at jobs. Like I would just be like so excited, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, I did what I was supposed to do. I got the education, so I'm gonna go for this job. And then I get there and, men, majority of the people that we are reporting to are men, would just say like just discouraging things. And because I wasn't really hyper focused on what anybody told me, I was just always kind of like, well, I'm gonna do what I want to anyway. It didn't bother me until I actually started listening. And then when I started listening, I was like, dang, that hurt. And then when when I don't know, when I noticed that it was hurt, I would immediately go to anger. And it didn't really feel like I was a shrinking, like I would just be angry and I'd be like, damn, why am I angry all the time? So yeah, yeah, that's how it manifested for me.
Mm. Mm. I think for me, it started around the same time it started for y'all. Those preteen, early teen stages. So I wasn't raised by my dad. I had four brothers, and they all kind of took that role and took that place. And I don't think that, you know, they consciously took it. It's just how I viewed them because they were, they were there and they provided what I needed for that, male attention, that support, that encouragement, just that masculine energy. And how they would talk about women, and it wasn't like derogatory or it wasn't like disrespectful or anything, but if a woman carried herself in a certain way, they would have an opinion about it, or they would show their disgust for it, or whatever it was. It wasn't any a positive outlook. So I always try to mirror myself on how I felt like they thought a woman should be, and how they thought that a woman should behave. Um and then as I started to get into relationships, because I've always tried to please my brothers and live up to their acceptable standards, these relationships wouldn't work out. And I would feel like it was my fault. Like I was a failure. And I wasn't even showing up as my authentic self. I was kind of like showing up in these relationships on how I felt like they wanted me to be. Um, and of course, just on that alone, it wasn't going to last. It wasn't going to work out. And so, all of these relationships would fail. And then they were always like older men. Um, and I'm talking about like 10 years older. So I'm like 18, this nigga 28, and they are in a completely different, part of their lives than, somebody that's fresh out of high school. So
Right.
I couldn't live up to your expectations anyway, looking back in retrospect, like, but I took that personally, like, like I couldn't, like I wasn't worthy or I wasn't good enough. And then like the whole thing with my dad, like I didn't even like I met him when I was probably like 22 for the first time. I went to Jerusalem, took the kids and I met him. And then like after that, like he didn't, and I took the time out to like find him. And then I, flew down there to visit him. And then, after that, it was like no communication at all. And so I would just be like, yeah, whatever. Like he ain't shit anyway. So, I mean, if he ain't in my life, then it's all good. But really, like that dimmed my light even more to where um, I felt like I wasn't enough. And I felt like, anybody, any, romantic relationship that I would get into, like it wasn't going to last. They were going to leave me. It wasn't going to work because I wasn't good enough. And I didn't really figure that out until my goddess bath just a couple months ago. Um, and before that, I could remember because, I just kind of like, woke up like, not like woke up out of bed, but like consciously, woke up and was like, damn, what the fuck? Like, what is like, who is this person? Like, I don't identify with this person at all. And I had
Mm.
to go all the way back to my childhood to when I was just being and I was just free and I was just vibrant and I was living and I was sure of myself. And I had to start there and kind of work my way up from there. So it's definitely a journey, but I think that's kind of like how my light started to dim, and I feel like my shit was like completely out. Like my shit wasn't even dim. Like I didn't have a light. Like I showed up at work like, imposter syndrome like a mug. Like, oh my God, if I open my mouth, these people are gonna know that I'm a fraud. Like I shouldn't be here. Even though I've done just as much as y'all have done to be here, and I have the accolades and I have the credentials, like I just never felt good enough.
Wow.
So, yep.
That's so funny to say that. My grandmother has a thing where she says, "You are who you are at 7," and then life chipping away at you. And so I had to do the same thing. I had to say, "Oh shit, who was I at 7? I was rock climbing. I was fearless. I did jujitsu. Like I was a rock star." And I had to literally channel that little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Work from there. So yeah.
Yep. All right. So the captured woman is a woman who is talented and gifted, but have ties to. Oh, we already did that. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So the Vasilisa doll. Look, I'm still on the captured woman.
You want to talk more about the captured woman?
I think I'm done with the captured woman. Okay.
Cool.
So the Vasilisa doll is a feminine spirit gathered by intuition. So what does your intuition mean to you? What relationships do you have with your intuition, and how does your intuition show up for you?
My intuition now is telling me to apologize when my ego shows up.
That's dope.
Because my intuition is helping me identify how my ego is showing up in negative ways. That's as of late. Like what happens when I don't feel heard? What do I do when I don't feel heard? Am I making someone else feel unheard? Then that kind of, that doesn't work. That doesn't fit. My intuition now is telling me, okay, Brittany, like why are you being so mean? What's underneath that? Let's uncover that, but you got to do the work, right? Because that work is so uncomfortable and it hurts a little bit when you're wrong. When you're wrong.
And you got to go back and be like, dang, you got a whole mouthful and that wasn't even for you. That was actually. It wasn't. Yeah. Yeah.
My bad. Yeah. I've had to do that a lot this week and today, and with the full moon, that's one thing that I'm releasing, like that discomfort when I am wrong. Like it's okay as long as you can acknowledge that. Then that's the work. That's progress enough, because I don't want to move in society, because that's very patriarchal, really, to just live with your ego and not care who you're hurting or what you're saying, and you think that you got everything in order, but you really don't. And so yeah, my intuition is like identifying when I'm moving from my ego and not the actual intuition. You know what I mean? So a lot of redoing, a lot of reworking. And if I feel good, I feel lighter. You know how you hold that grudge and you're like, damn, I know I did that wrong, but I'm going to live in it anyway. I'm going to keep moving like I didn't do anything. And so, yeah, I still got a little bit more to go at work, but I'm going to figure that out.
Girl, like I feel like if I do some fucked up shit, like I cannot move on with my life until I make it right. Like I can't, I don't know, like I'm stuck there, and I don't know why. It's just kind of like in me to like talk about it, fix it, get to the bottom of it, apologize when you're wrong. And like you said, that shit, it doesn't feel good. It makes you feel so low. Like I feel like such an idiot, and as a Virgo and just who I am, very analytical and, intellectual, like to feel dumb is like probably one of the worst things that I can feel. But yeah, that's exactly how it feels to me.
That's dope. That's dope.
Well, my intuition is telling me that I need to write this letter to my dad because I am very angry at him. And, Jabria and I talk about this all the time, where you don't have to physically confront somebody. You don't have to physically, tear up contracts with somebody. You can do it spiritually. You can energetically channel people. But I feel like this I have to physically do. It's just something that came up and was like, get his address, write this letter, don't hold back. I don't know why he needs to hear it. I don't even know if it's for. I think it's more for me, but yeah, just writing this letter, I think will provide like a breakthrough into like my next phase of life, or just kind of like release energy, negative energy that I still have for him. So
Yeah, what my intuition means to me, I mean, here lately, you know, I've actually been really, really strengthening and sharpening, my superpower. And trusting it more, and trying to really just sit in it. Even when people like be probing me, like, well, are you sure that you're ready to do XYZ? Like, I mean, yes and no. And that's okay. And that's okay like right now. Like, don't be asking me, am I sure? Like, if you ask me tomorrow, like, I may give you a different answer, but that's okay. My intuition is telling me right now that this is the way that I want to answer this question, because I want immediate XYZ, or I for whatever reason. So just leaning back into it. I don't know. It means to me like it's just me. It's my essence. It's who I am. So it's very, 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 very important that that I listen to it and lean into it.
Absolutely. I actually feel like I call my intuition my inner being, and I was able to meet it, or her, really, on a intense shrooms trip. And I mean, she was solid, like unwavering in the best possible way, very sure, very confident, everything that I aspired to be. And so if I know that if I lean more into that, then I mean, there's like, there's absolutely nothing that literally I can't do, you know what I mean, in this life,
And that's
period.
wild. And that's wild. Like, people, y'all have to like do, go on a trip or whatever to meet her. And that's crazy, because like I've always known her. Like, I've just been like, nah, girl. Nah, girl. My stomach just hurt. I know why it's hurting, but nah, girl. I'm good. I'm gonna go over here and and do this. So it's just, I don't know. It's just different to me to hear your both of you guys' perspective, as far as like having to refine it, because I don't know, like, it's just always been with me, a part of me.
That's
and
fantastic.
and like you said too, though, like it's a muscle. You have to strengthen it. Like we all have it. Everyone has it. But if you don't use it, then it's kind of like that dimming light that we talked about. It gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. It's still there, but you have to kind of do the work to rekindle that flame,
Yeah.
and
And
to
sorry, go
and to
ahead.
know the difference. No, yeah, I was done. And to know the
So
difference.
so as far as, let's go back one thing, because I did want to add something to the whole dim in my light. Like, my intuition, and this is just kind of some wild stuff. Like, my intuition would show up, and it would like call things, and I would like say the things that my intuition had already saw. And people, including like my family, and then like my really close friends, would be like, why are you saying that? Like, how you saying it with so much like confirmation, that this is like, and just you sure that this is what it's gonna be. And I remember when I was younger, my mom, because we did grow up in the church, they used to always say, like, you have to be really, really careful, of the words that you mutter, because words, once you speak them, you can't get them back, right? And so that is one of the ways I feel like my intuition, not my actually like light, but my intuition was kind of muted, because I would be like, ooh, if I say that, like, people gonna be looking at me crazy. And then it happened, and I'd be like, damn, did I say that to somebody, or did I really just think that? So yeah, I think it's wild that, yeah, like y'all are like, yeah, I had to go somewhere to find mine, and I'm like, yeah, she there, she's strong,
I feel like mine has always been there, but there is